I'm Ryan Milton from Team Flex, and today we're going to be looking at fit model division. What could it look like in 2025? This is a question that everybody has, and I think I'm creating a video today that's going to give us some insight into that. Although nobody has a crystal ball, we can't see the future. Keep that in mind as you watch through, okay? But fit model division, if you don't know, it's a new division announced by NPC IFBB this week, and it's pretty much taken social media by storm. People have a lot of different ideas, a lot of different opinions about it, and really a lot of competitors looking to wonder, what is it going to look like in 2025? So hopefully by the end of this video, we'll have a better idea of what it may look like, and we'll see how that all plays out, okay? So looking at this class right here, this lineup, these competitors on the screen, this is going to be a look at actually what is the 2015, sorry, 2025 is what I'm thinking of, 2015 NPC USA. So this was a national championship, pro qualifier, in other words, right? This is where you got, if you were trying to become an IFBB pro, this is nationals. This is what you would do today to become an IFBB pro. This is Bikini 2015 NPC USA. So these athletes in here, the class winners, became IFBB pros, okay? And that is very interesting because basically this is 2015 Bikini, but that's also kind of what fit model is going to be. 2015 Bikini for the most part. And again, granted, this is my opinions, my ideas, my thoughts about this. We don't have any concrete data as nobody's competing yet. But the judges and the rules and, NPC and IFBB all put out, the rules state pretty much this look. And also they shared photos of Ashley Kaltwasser from Olympia that year as the standard. So technically, if we look at nationals here, this is a pretty good idea of what we could possibly see at nationals, pro qualifying events in 2025 as we go. So let's take a look at this class. Let's go over this a little bit and talk a little bit about criteria for fit model. So fit model division is going to be, and I got to get my pen again. I don't know why I keep doing this every video. Fit model is going to be this division that is, again, focused on that hourglass type aesthetic that we see in Bikini, and that's across the board. Again, what it was back then, what it is today, and where it's going to be in fit model, okay? So you'll see all three of these athletes here in this class. This is class D. This is our class winner in the middle, and she also won the overall that year, so a very good indicator of that look. And realistically, this is, again, more of the fit model look because this is 2015 Bikini look, which is kind of where we're going back to with fit model. So looking at this, what you'll see is that hourglass shape is prevalent. All you fit modelers out there, anybody thinking about this, you got to have that hourglass shape. You got to have that. That's going to come from that foundation of having some muscle in the upper body. Now, the rules state in fit model, this is going to be a slight amount of roundness to the deltoids, meaning they don't want to see big shoulders. This is pretty much the same as Bikini, though. They don't want to see super big shoulders. However, Bikini shoulders are going to be bigger than fit model shoulders. So if you got Bikini shoulders right now, your shoulder's going to have to be smaller unless you got smaller Bikini shoulders that could fit into fit model, right? It's definitely a tone down as far as muscle goes in the upper body for fit model. And we see here all these athletes have this slight roundness and development to the upper body. That's still definitely muscle being built. This is not muscle that people walk around on the street with if they don't train, they don't diet, they don't eat right? Like this is all, at that time especially too, very much the Bikini criteria, and it will probably be what we see on the fit model stages in some ways. Now, looking to the midsection, the core, if you will, this is where everything tapers in. So all of these athletes are going to really show that tapered look. This again creates that V taper. This is a lot like what we talk about for Bikini and wellness in the upper body if you watch my channel. Obviously, though, fit model is going to be less of the upper body development overall, and also the midsection is going to be specifically focused on being flat stomach, not too conditioned in the core, also not holding any extra body fat, but they don't want to see chiseled six packs. And we're going to see that nobody in this lineup really has that. So again, pretty on par with the criteria as far as the new rules go. All three of these athletes, again, looking at the posing here, doing the original kind of Bikini front pose, if you will. That's coming back for fit model. That's what you're going to be posing in fit model as your front pose is this pose or a variation of this pose. So again, this shows the muscle in the lower body a bit different than today's pose. When we look at Bikini's pose today, the front pose, we're looking at a lot of things. We're looking at glutes, We're looking at hamstrings, quads, everything, right? We can see a lot more. In this pose, you don't really get as much glute. That's just kind of the way it is, the nature of the beast with this pose. However, you can see lower body muscle development here. We can see all of these athletes have that. They got the, quad development, the muscle there. Some of them, you do get a little bit of an inkling of the glute development here just because of how they have positioned their pose, but you're not going to see that with everybody across the board. And how athletes roll this pose out is going to be pretty individual to their physique in general, right? Which is all posing anyway. You'll see that even in today's bikini. However, this is a very much fit model criteria because the lower body, again, not as muscular as today's bikini. So step down in the lower body muscularity, not as much muscle, not as much coming there in that regard. Now let's look from the back. As I always say, bodybuilding's one from the back, fit model's going to be one from the back. And this is again where we see those same rules and criteria exemplified with some more changes from today's current bikini, okay? So we can see the slight development to the shoulders. You should see this from the back. This is going to be key here. All of these athletes have that for sure. And we're going to look at several other classes too. So I won't beat a dead horse with all this, but we're going to look at several of these IFBB Pro winning classes from 2015 and kind of look at what maybe fit model could be. If you're liking these videos, by the way, subscribe. I got a lot more coming. We're covering all divisions. We're going to cover a lot of fit model stuff too, and we got a lot more coming. Thank you. Okay, so looking here, lower body, what we can see now, this is the main focus of the back pose always. Now, the rules in fit model specifically state no separations between glutes and hamstring tie-in. However, they want firm glutes, they want glute development. It's going to be less than today's bikini, which is, again, exactly what we're seeing at this level here, this national event, this pro qualifying event. In 2015 for bikini, this could be what fit model looks like at the national level. So you can see there's the glute development overall, upper glute development here. Everything is there glute wise. All the athletes have this glute development. However, they do not show hard tie-ins. This is a top 3 at nationals. Okay, and you're not going to see hard tie-ins, the separation between the glute and hamstring like we see in bikini, and that is what judges look for in bikini today. It's that slight separation between the glutes and the hamstring tie-in. So again, a step backward to 2015 bikini is also where fit model could potentially be going. Less in the glutes, less in the hamstrings, less in the tie-ins, less in the condition. Obviously, that's a rule. That's one of the rules of the division. Less conditioning overall, less muscle overall. This, though, is a very realistic look for what fit model could be, okay? And all of you out there, if you're looking at this and you like this look and you're like, this is what I'd like to look like, or I thought I could never compete before because, bikini's so muscular, so lean, I don't want to get to that point. Well, this is a place for you to do that. Or you bikini competitors out there that feel like, the division's gotten away from you, this might be a place for you to shift your focus and go compete here, okay? Let's look at another class now. So this is another class, again, from NPC USA, another, top 3 here in that class with another pro card winner and then a couple other athletes. And again, I think a very realistic look of what we might see on a fit model stage come 2025, especially as the divisions start to play out and, we start to see more athletes being competitive and where we go to nationals. So here's our class winner. Here is, second place in that class and then third over here. And what we can see is these athletes, again, all exemplify the same things. Everybody's going to have this hourglass shape, a little bit more shoulders in some versus others, right? But all still that same, roundness, that fullness a little bit in the shoulder to create that taper into the narrow waist effect, create the hourglass there. And then, again, we'll see variance in posing. Posing, I've been coaching a long time, you guys, and posing has evolved a lot. It continues to evolve. It's much more serious now than it's ever been, right? Like, it used to be, you'd see a wide variety of poses on stage, and pretty much people brought kind of what they wanted within the judges' parameters. Now it's very streamlined. Most people do very similar posing in general, and maybe social media has a lot to do with that. People just watching routines, copying routines. I'm not 100% sure, but it is definitely something where, posing used to be a little bit more varied, and you'll see all 3 of these athletes, although hitting the same front pose, they're all hitting it differently in different ways, and obviously different placements of hands and so on and so forth. But all of them still exemplify what this criteria was. So you can see the glute development here, the lower body development, hamstring, quads. And overall, this is really what you're looking for in this front pose, that hourglass that is exemplified by that old school bikini pose, which is now the fit model front pose. So if you like this look, this is a division you should seriously think about competing in. Now let's look from the back here. We'll see all the same markers, a little bit in the shoulders, hourglass shape, all coming together. That is what we see across the board, all three of the athletes. What we will still see though, no hard tie-ins. You may see just the inkling of tie-ins, but as I explained in other videos on this channel, which if you haven't watched, go watch those. I talk about how judges perceive tie-ins differently than we do. Like, you might look at these tie-ins and say, that is a tie-in, that is a tie-in. Well, judges, the tie-in to them is like very separated, right? It's this very deep look of, oh, here's the glute, here's the hamstring, and they see that condition. They know that's, you know, a tie-in. This is more kind of like inklings of tie-ins, if you will, where you can see the glute muscle, the hamstring muscle, but it's not a very lean look. It's not a very tight tie-in. It's more of that softer look, which was 2015 bikini criteria and will be 2025 fit model criteria. So we see the glute fullness, we see the development, it's all there. It's just not as hard in the tie-ins, not as much development. Lower body's not super developed compared to especially today's bikini, but this was the standard back then, and this will probably be what we see on stages for fit model. Let's look at one more class here from NPC USA, a national class, again, a pro qualifier. This competition made IFBB pros in bikini at the time. So it's possible to say this is what's going to look like nationals at the fit model level and where those athletes will be turning pro, fit model pros, in other words. Class winner in the middle, second over here, third over here in this class, okay? So what we will see, again, is a lot of similarities. Every class looks different. That's what you'll notice, right? You'll see, oh, whoa, not everybody looks exactly the same, but they're all similar within the criteria. Some of them look a little bit bigger. Some of them look a little bit leaner, right? Like we look over here at third place, she's got bigger shoulders than anyone we see in the lineup. Her abs are looking leaner than anyone we see in the lineup. You know, she has a little bit more muscle lower body than we've seen in the lineup, but however, this is still within the criteria. She's taking third at nationals, nothing to scoff at back here at 2015, right? So again, this is where we will see a wide variety of who actually turns up in fit model, especially in the first couple years here. It takes years, in my opinion, for divisions to really kind of like roll out and we start to steamroll and see exactly how things are going to go. The first year of this division is going to be a wild card. It's going to be a lot of different types of physiques as judges really carve out exactly what it is they want to see. However, I do think it will be a similar look to what you're seeing on the screen. This slight development in the shoulders, the taper into the waists that are not too hard, the cores that are not too conditioned, show some muscle, show some conditioning. And, you know, I've seen a lot of comments about people saying this is going to be an average everyday gym, you know, girls kind of look like you could just roll off the streets and compete here. It's definitely not the case, okay? The average everyday woman does not look like these athletes, and in no way could they just put on a bikini and go on stage, right? These athletes trained hard, they built that muscle, they built that condition, they built that shape, and all of the fit model athletes are going to have to do the same thing. This is not going to be the everyday woman's, you know, physique. It is going to be a place where maybe for a lot of women that thought the bikini's too extreme, it looks too much, it's too much overdone, you know, or they think everybody's on PEDs or they're going to have to do that, or they've had bad experiences, coaches pushing that on them. Well, this is a division where, you know, you return back to 2015 look, and there's a lot of possibility here for where this look actually goes, and it's much more attainable for many people, and that's why there's going to be a lot of women that didn't compete in this sport, left this sport, or are unhappy with where they're going in the sport, can come here and do this and do very well. So let's look from the back. All the same markers, okay? Shoulder development, and again, look at this athlete in the middle who won this class. Much leaner, a lot more shoulder. And, you know, we're seeing that. We see a little bit more separation, okay? Yeah, so again, the variance in physiques, the variance in criteria is going to be happening on these stages. However, all of them are well within this, and I do think this is, again, what we will see play out in fit model division at the NPC level. I'm going to do another video here to go to like a regional NPC competition, you know, one that is happening like in your local town, and we're going to look at that because this is nationals again, which would be the top of the NPC division at that time. Athletes here turning pro, moving into the pro leagues. We're going to look at that, and we're going to actually see what a, you know, regional, local fit model level could look like. So if you want to watch that, make sure you subscribe, hang out with me. Do you guys like fit model? Are you going to be doing fit model? Are you excited for it? Either way, what you should understand is that, you know, it doesn't ultimately matter. If you're one of the people that do not like this and you're like, this is a bad idea, I don't like the idea of it, they shouldn't do this, that's because it ain't for you, right? You got another division you're happy in, but at one point, like, it's important for everybody to remember remember, there used to be just bodybuilding. Like, bodybuilding was the only thing. Go back to Arnold era, you know, when Arnold was winning the Olympias and doing things, there was no men's physique, there was no bikini, there was no figure, there was none of this. There was only bodybuilding, okay? There was no wellness, nothing. So had these divisions not been added, you would never be able to compete in them, and you probably wouldn't be competing at all if there was only just men's bodybuilding left, right? So again, a lot of ways to look at it, but realistically, it's going to be a good thing for everybody involved that ends up doing it, and for those that are not doing it and don't like it, wouldn't want to do it, it's going to be a good thing for you too, because your competitions are going to be better. Overall, that's what we're looking at here. Stay tuned, more coming. Another round of maybe fit model in the NPC coming, what it's going to look like, and we'll be following that all the time. Thanks for watching. Coach Ryan is out.